Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. I'm lucky that Chris is with me today to do The Shy Season 3, Episode 7. We're about to get up out of here. A lot of things happened this episode. A few storylines were closed, but let's get to it. So the top of the story for this episode was obviously Keisha. She was thankfully saved thanks to Ronnie, local detective now. He's 2-0. With his investigative skills, and we appreciate that. But anyway, so he was able to save Keisha from a very bad situation, and that's interesting. So she was gone for 2 months. We learned about that. We also learned about the trauma her being gone was having on her family, between Nina and Dre. You know, how does Nina keep her daughter's memory alive? Dre trying to move on. They did break up. I mean, you know, Nina kicked Dre out the house, you know, over it. So anyway, what you got? What you got, Chris?
Yeah, I guess so. One of the things we were talking about before, I was kind of confirmed here. I guess with Ronnie, I guess when we were checking other houses, that he thought he did hear Keisha in the house. I mean, he was right. I mean, but you know, one of the things we were kind of talking about before was, when that tea kettle went off, like, did he just kind of dismiss her? Like, maybe he really thought he heard her and then just trying to play it off and just left, you know? But I'm glad it showed that it wasn't just his house, that the kidnapper's house that he was searching for, because I thought that was just too convenient. Yes, it came from a general direction when she heard the screams from that night, but you weren't 100% sure. So if that's the case, like, when you check out the house, so I'm glad that they, you know, it was a 45-second clip of doors just closing up, and it was like, no, you know, and he was just suspicious of the man. You know what I mean? Just the way his attitude, the way he was kind of all hovering around him, you know, just to use the bathroom, all kinds of stuff. And then the whole talking to the neighbor and saying, oh, he don't have a wife, after he told him that he did. I was like, oh yeah, there you go. I would have thought, though, as a kidnapper, though, especially you putting several locks on the door, that you would not make it so easy to just have your damn fence open like that, for one, where he could just open it up. And, man, I don't know if Ronnie got buns of steel or whatnot, but that door looked like it was dead-bolted. Bruh, like, usually even for police, it takes like a battering ram to open up a door like that, but I had to kind of keep telling myself this is The Shy. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a rundown house, and maybe it was rusted over, where maybe the lock wasn't in the grooves that well, where Ronnie was able to just bust it over. You know, I thought he was going to do something to crowbar, but I guess the crowbar was for the basement, you know, to get Keisha out. You know, but yeah, I thought it was a little convenient. You know, your theory was correct as far as what's the kidnap? I don't know the kidnapper's name. Not
Amari.
Even though, yeah, it looks like, even though IMDb put his name out there, nobody else will. You know, I guess for obvious reasons, but it shows that he really was, I guess, sleeping with Keisha. I want to know, like, how her hygiene was, since she's wearing, every time you saw her, she's wearing her same uniform.
So it's interesting that you bring this up. And that's what I was kind of, you know, I didn't want to feel insensitive about the issue, or, you know, trying to expose the issue. But I was wondering, what was he actually doing with Keisha? Because, again, he was dressed. She was fully dressed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that could have just been
like, maybe he...
Yeah.
So maybe he was cuddling with her? Like, I'm like...
Yeah, because you notice he also did not ever really try to harm her. Even, like, he almost... And I was like, oh, he's, you know, after her trying to escape or whatnot and try to hit him, like... He stopped himself. He stopped himself, like, I could, you know, which that would have been the moment if you were a kidnapper, if you already wanted to do harm, like, you know what I mean? And yes. He didn't. So it made me think, like, he really, in his mind, in his weird, twisted mind, he really wanted to help her.
Yes.
As weird as it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that kind of confirmed it. That kind of confirmed it right there, you know?
And that's why I was like, what was his end game? Like, what was he trying to do with her? Like, I mean, like, he was treating her like a daughter, but again, that was based on the fact that he was attracted to a girl in high school, which would make Keisha like like a partner figure.
Oh,
but
you know what? They did have sex. Let me tell you how. Remember that line you said, "Oh, you know, we had a long night." Remember that line?
I understand. I get you, and it went in slow motion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking maybe I'm just saying the fact that she was completely dressed, he was still dressed. It just confused it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I see your point, and I thought that's what they were trying to hint at, but it wasn't very clear what he what he did and what he's doing. I don't know. I hope he didn't, but it seems like I can see your point, right? It wasn't very clear. The fact that she had an STD test, which I think just would have been standard for the fact that she was kidnapped by a man.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's would be on. That would just be part of the process, right?
Well, no, you wouldn't have to have an STD test unless, if you didn't have sex. You know what I mean? So.
I think with assault, any kind of assault, I think they would have been like, we just need to make sure, you know what I'm saying? Because she could have been to the point that she couldn't say anything, right? They had to put her out on a gurney, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway. So, maybe they'll talk about that next episode if she does go to counseling, if she talks to Dre about it, maybe they'll get into that. But yeah, I can see. It did imply they had sex, but again, the fact that she wasn't in a nightie, but she was like still back in her track uniform, and he was wearing.
Well, so what I know is the very first time they show both of them in bed, because you got to remember the moment when she was in a track uniform, when she took the covers off, it did a jump. It was like a jump scene where it went to, I guess, a different story with Kevin or Jake or whatever, and then it went back to her in bed. I could have sworn in the beginning when you saw both of them in the bed, in the very beginning, even though it was covers, there was like no strap. It didn't look like she was wearing anything.
Anyway,
I could be wrong, but which is why when he got out of the bed, he was just in his boxers, and that could have been the actor's choice of just saying, "Hey, look, you ain't gonna show my bare ass on this thing." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Either way, she was in a bad situation. Don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But
she wanted to hang herself. She wanted to, which I don't blame her. You know what I mean? Like, helpless. Like you're like try to escape. And you're thinking like there's no way out. You know what I mean? What else is there to do? But it just it's a horrible situation. But I'm glad that they in this episode. What I like that they kind of touched up on was, talk about stuff like, trauma, suicide prevention, and then even, now this part is going to be kind of funny, but talk about like, the whole idea of consent,
I want to get to that. I want to get to that later. I want to get to that later.
Yeah, talk about consent, and then even talking about just even with who is Duda's opposing running mate.
Camille.
Yeah. So with her even bringing up the whole idea of saying like, they keep saying women can't hold office, and bringing up, giving a huge shout out to Miss Shirley Chisholm, so that I thought that was pretty freaking dope, because that was a great parallel, Keisha, I don't know anything about Shirley, just FYI, Shirley Chisholm, y'all should all do your history, but she is the very, very first black person ever to be elected into Congress, or I should say black woman, first black woman to ever be placed in Congress. And she became the very first black person who run for a Democratic candidate for president of the United States. That's a big deal. So, and that was in 1972. Obviously, we all know what happened then. And then we had this dude named, Richard, aka Tricky Dick Nixon, winning that one. So I don't know, maybe we should have put Shirley in there, but anyway, I digress. I thought this episode was pretty dope as far as different morality of stories that they should get, they should have given out. I felt the only beef I have is, and we'll talk about this later, is Emmett. I know your beef. I have a feeling your beef is with Kevin, but I'm gonna tell you. But I have a separate beef with Emmett. And
man, Emmett's gonna get destroyed in this video, man. Like Emmett's on my list.
Please talk about Emmett. Please allow me to go first, because
all right, man. All right. So let's
bars. I got bars, son.
All right, man. All right. So with Keisha's story wrapping up, what?
This dude I'm trying to point at. That
oh, okay. All right. So with Keisha, with the fact she was gone 2 months, we got to remember that Nina and Dre, mostly Nina, hired a private detective after talking to a cop that came over, took her statement. The cop blew her off. That was the last time you saw law enforcement involved in this situation. Off screen, Nina hired a private detective who at one point wanted at least $5,000, I think, to further look for Keisha. When in the end, Ronnie, for free, one he resulted into the arrest or the identification of two like sex like criminals. All right, first he got the white dude who killed that girl a few weeks ago. That was because of Ronnie. That man got arrested. In this situation, Omari, we don't know. I think he's dead. I mean, they only had 2 ambulances, and Ronnie and Keisha were being put into those ambulances. So I'm pretty sure Omari's dead.
Yeah, you probably won't even hear anything about him as far as his where he's at,
like status. That's
it.
I'm gonna talk about Kevin. So Kevin and Ronnie, it was I said it before he said it, and that's how good the writers were. When Kevin came in, saw Ronnie in the bed, I was like, thank you, right? Because Kevin is going through so much right now, especially with Ronnie. I mean, what I'm saying? Like, first season, he killed one of his friends. He almost killed him. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning,
he was scared shitless of Ronnie. He was scared. He was scared of him. It was one of those things. He was like this boogeyman asshole, and he didn't want to have anything. He was just disgusted by just the sight of Ronnie.
And for the show to open with Kevin looking at Ronnie like, are you crazy to think I'm a vouch for you at Brandon's funeral, right? To now to be like, thank you. Like, he can, like, at some level he can get past some of the stuff maybe, and just acknowledge that without him his sister wouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Is awesome.
And what I love too was Ronnie's that is all Ronnie wanted. And from the very beginning, but like you said, that beginning scene when he said he wanted to make things right, going to the funeral, you saw how hurt, like, when you looked in Ronnie's eyes, you saw how hurt he was when Kevin basically kind of told him to get going. And he was so hurt, like he wanted to make amends, that just hearing those 2 words at the very end of this episode, they went back into his face again. And it was like, okay, this is it. This is my redemption. This was it. Like, he couldn't go with his boys down south to find, obviously, he has nothing else to kind of tie him to the Shy. His grandmother's gone. You know what I mean? He's homeless. He tried to make amends to his ex. You know what I mean? He had nothing to kind of tie them together, but he could not leave that city until he rights the same wrongs that he did in the very first season with everything that arrived from him shooting Coogee in the very beginning. And I thought that was a great small moment, that when you saw him staring at that mural of Jason, from the very first season, I thought it was like his, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I think between that and him getting baptized, everything accumulated to this moment where he finally found himself and he was finally at peace. His grandmother made peace, and he felt like he did great for his grandmother, but he had to do one last thing, and he accomplished that. And when Kevin kind of gave him that acknowledgement at the end, it was like, okay, that's it. I can now go. I can do whatever now. You know what I mean? So I love that moment. I thought that moment was great.
And I hope this gives him the foundation to finally get sober, as he said, as he was remembering, Miss Ethel. As Jada pointed out, it's ironic that he's sitting up there talking about, I want to do better for my grandmother, as he's steadily drinking, and knowing that that's one of the things that causes him to do bad.
Oh, the toast.
Yeah, Jada was real with him, and like, hey, and pointed out, she's like, we were not together. You know what I'm saying? Like we went out a couple of dates, I guess, but we were not together. Last week, Chris and I were discussing Kevin's situation. He's mad at Gemma for trying to give him a good birthday party, for trying to, be there for him. And therefore, she talked to her mom about him. His business got out. He's so mad, he blows up at her. He's so mad that he spends 2 days not talking to her. She continues to apologize for this. But what changed his mind? What made him go?
That changes a lot of young boys' minds.
I could not.
That was too far for you.
Stop it. Stop.
Okay.
No, I was mad as fuck when I saw this.
Why?
I was mad because, like, again, I could not believe that this boy was gonna be like, oh, my sister could be dead. I can't accept this laptop. I'm not gonna be a charity case. I am not gonna be a charity case. And I'm like, you know what? If he stayed to his principles, I'm not gonna be a charity case. I totally get it. As soon as she said, let's have sex, magically he was like, you know what? Okay.
Yo, no joke. I mean, I hear you on that, but I gotta tell you, man, like sex, like, kills all kinds of emotional stresses and whatnot. And I had to say, I know, I see your hand going, and I'm like, wait. Yo, I'm telling you, man. No. Yeah, he was pissed, and let's rewind to the previous episode, right? So I think in his heart of hearts, right, even though he knew that in his mind, like, damn, like, why she tell these random girls I didn't know? He knew that, right? He knew that, but I felt like, especially when her name was brought up again, that he kind of, I guess when he was talking to, was it Jake or whatnot? Jake, yeah. You saw, like, the wheels were turning, and just like I was saying before about which is the whole thing with Nina and Dre and then walking it off and whatnot, in that brief scene you saw, it looked like he was just trying to be like, oh, okay. And to the point where they were in the hallway and she saw Gemma, that he was like, yeah, you know what I mean? It seemed like he was kind of, he felt like he knew that he might have been overreacting, but he wanted the right thing to be said. You know what I mean? And it was hard for that. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I felt like her really trying to say, hey, look, I really want to do right by you. He was thinking, yeah, I know.
No, Chris. No, absolutely not. So Duda and Jake, I like what Jake did. I like how Jake, like, played him at the table. It was like, what you gonna do, hit me? I can't walk around with a black eye. I thought Duda could have punched him in the stomach.
Now that's where I differ on you about that now.
All right.
I felt that was way too bold of him. Like, I get it. I get it. The whole suspicion that Trig kind of put into his head, saying that, that dude killed our brother. You know what I mean? I understood that. But I guess it was hard for me to see the evolution of him not giving a fuck, in the sense of, like, after watching Duda whoop that dude's ass. That dude was sweating and, like, borderline in tears. Knowing that his brother kind of did kind of worse, he was scared shitless of this dude, to the point where he left the shoes on. He's like, I'm sorry, I left the shoes on. That I would have loved to at least see maybe a 2 or 3 minutes of him even kind of thinking to myself, like, this motherfucker could have killed my brother. Like, you know what I mean? That the jump was just too much. Because even in the previous episode, you saw he didn't even necessarily agree with Trig. You know what I mean? Yeah, the wheels were spinning in his head when he told him that, but he wasn't 100% on board. Because if he was, he would have never gone back to that house with Duda in the first place. And that's why I thought that it was like, if he was suspicious, he should have been suspicious, but he was way too bold, too fast, I felt, at that table. If that makes any sense.
No, I see your point. And yes, it's completely inconsistent within season 3. Like, again, we got to forget about season 1 and 2. But within season 3, for him to run away and almost pee on himself, seeing Duda beat up a dude, but talk shit to him in this episode, doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I agree with you. I'm just saying that, like he understood. He's to me, he's growing mentally. Like, he understood the situation. You need me for political purposes. I am an image to you. You're not going to mess up the poster. You know what I'm saying? But in return, being the gangster that Duda's supposed to be, he could have just punched him in the stomach. He could have hit him in the chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to see the bruises to have bruises, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have made him fully appreciate who he's living with. And, like you said, why is he living there in the first place? If he's talking all that shit to him throughout the whole episode, he can take his happy ass back to Trig and Amani. Like, you don't have to live there, son. Like,
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me mad. That's what made me overall forget. I mean, but then at the end, he admits, like Duda admits that why he had to, allow his brother to be killed, and Jake is still sitting up there playing Xbox. Like, like
that is a dynamic. Though I will call them the Trinity. I'm gonna say Jake, Trig, and Duda. I would love to see that get fleshed out a little bit more, because you're right. Because I mean, as you can see, we don't always agree with certain characters often. So when we do agree, then that's how you know they fucked up. So, you know what I mean? So if me and you are agreeing with how they are stabilizing these characters, then that's something that I feel like they need to kind of work out on, because it's like you said it perfectly. It is way too inconsistent. You know what I mean? Because I was like, oh yeah, Duda, he is going to hit the living shit out of Jake. But now I was also thinking, like, well, damn, but his wife is there. You know what I mean? So maybe not. You know what I mean? I also had to comment on the fact that I thought there was going to be more business at the table, because damn, there was a lot of food on that table.
Yeah.
I didn't know if like Big Mike was going to be there. I was like,
that's a feast.
Eat up. He's like, eat up, son. I'm like, and who else? Who coming? I was like, is Kevin coming too? Is the whole Kevin Big Papa? Who all coming?
So it's funny. You should bring up one thing. You bring up Big Mike. Okay, so we know why Duda and his wife are not going well. So Rose cheated on him with his secretary for quite a few months. That's a nice way of showing she's bisexual. I get it. And they're still working through those trust issues. They still got the whole mama thing on the side. I thought that was interesting. Then, what?
No. As you were saying, a thought just came in my mind with something you just said.
What's up,
Remember what was it Mia said, hey, like, say, hey, your wife would say, hey, you want me to get your wife off your hands?
Oh yeah, and Camille.
What if Duda does her dirty, does Mia dirty, and Mia try to get back at him?
So Rose, his wife Rose, right? His wife Rose.
Yeah.
So you're saying it says Rose is gonna sleep with Camille?
Only if, like, I feel like, see, because it already shows that they're at odds with how to run things and how to run a campaign. Obviously, I think it started off with the mother, and then it turned into the whole releasing the video without consulting her. I feel like something's going to happen, whether like he fires his own wife because his wife is even hired to do all that, and she tries to get back. I don't know. I don't know. I just thought that it was an interesting line that she gave, and then on top of everything, you find out in that same exact episode why they didn't work out to begin with her. With her.
Yeah, I see your point.
I'm wondering. Yeah.
So I want to talk about Papa. In this, and Maisha, in contrast to Kevin and Gemma, all right? So once again, we have a situation where Papa finds out, that Maisha can't come to school anymore because her mom lost her job. She has to stay home, take care of the kids, like she did in season 1 and 2. That's how she got Kevin. She was trying to get Kevin. And they moved to a different housing complex. So that's not the same place they were living in season 1 and 2. But then Papa, she says, do not put my business out there. My mom would be upset. Papa immediately goes and tells his dad, right? One, he tries to steal the money. Let's start with that. First, he was going to rob the church to be like, I'm going to go help my girlfriend. And then he does I love this. I mean, he was like, he brought back the whole, why you taking money from Camille? Like, he put all that shit on his dad and was like, what are we doing for the community? And I thought that was perfect. The way he did it to me.
Yeah, I thought it was a little corny. I mean, I liked it, but I thought it was a little corny, though. And I say corniness because I'm thinking, like, how the hell your son tell you about some shit that you should have already known? You know what I mean? It was like, really, like, you right, son. Like, I didn't think about giving to my community, even though I am a pastor. Like, what? It was too. I love what they do with Big Papa, but let's be real. When he gives inspirational quotes, it's always during corny moments. Let's be real. It's been during moments where you don't say it out loud, but you whisper, "Yeah, no shit, Sherlock." You know what I mean? Like,
I see your point, man. I'm saying I didn't think they were going to bring back the whole "I saw you take money from Camille" thing. I didn't think they were going to touch that at all.
I did. The fact that like there was only one person in that church at the same time who saw that, and they just showed Big Papa's eyes widen. I was like, oh yeah, they ain't gonna let this go.
I want to get to Emmett because of.
Can I take the helm on this?
Go. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
Yo, I want to thank the Shy and the creators and directors for making characters who you would love in the beginning and just all of a sudden fucking hate them. Hate them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, I had a character who I was like, yo, Emmett, yo, I love this dude. Yo, I'm rooting for this dude. Okay, yeah. What the hell? What the hell? What did y'all do with him? Oh my God. Where do I start? Where do I freaking start? For the very first 2 seasons, it showed that he was young and immature, but he was growing. You see that with Kevin? Hell, Kevin almost lost his virginity this episode. If homegirl's father didn't cock block, right? Everyone is growing. Everyone is growing. People get married. You know, like Keisha learned, Keisha's growing, unfortunately, with what she dealt with. Everyone's growing. Guess who's not growing? Motherfucking Emmett. Why? Let me start off with the big thing, yo. You freaking had the audacity to take the same man, the only man who would hire you, and be like, oh, I'm gonna get him evicted because he's not handling the business right, okay? That's fucked up. Lil Rel, shout out to Lil Rel. I love that they put him in this episode. I hope he's in more episodes. Even he said the exact same thing I said. I was like, yo, that's fucked up. Like he said, I was like, that's messed up. And then on top of that, yes, what we were saying all this whole season about them introducing Lala, we were like, okay, yeah, he's gonna he's gonna screw up once again and have sex with Lala. But remember what I said in the previous episode? I was like, yeah, most likely, especially with the whole fortune card thing, they're gonna make you the tarot card thing. I was like, yeah, they're gonna make you feel like, yeah, he's gonna mess around. And I even said something like, yeah, Lala's gonna put on there, but wouldn't it be nice, right? Because just to show that Emmett is evolving, that he turns her down like, no, I got a girl who I love. I was thinking like, yeah, I knew there's only gonna be a 10% chance that's gonna happen, but I held on to that 10%. That 10%, man, that 10% is so important of making a great freaking show, right? They did this. They got rid of it. And they had Emmett be the same motherfucker as he was in the previous season. A fucking horn dog who only thinks about his dick and just himself. That selfish mother effer. Like, this season was supposed to be the season where he became new Brandon. Would you agree? Like, they set it up for him to be the new Brandon. What happened? How, Sway? How? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Emmett, I have no voice anymore. Go ahead, Dave. Take it, man. I'm just
Thank you, sir, for that great foundation. Yeah, fuck this dude. Like, fuck this dude. Zeke, that's the character that Lil Rel played, and I had to watch it with subtitles and just to figure out his character. Writers, when you introduce a character, give that motherfucker a name that somebody says in the dialogue so we know who we're dealing with, okay? Because he's going to be in the next episode. He's only in 2 episodes in this season. So give him a name so we don't have to search 3 websites to figure out who this dude is. After eating Dominique's food, he's going to evict Sonny for a couple of months. A couple of months. You're going to kick this man out of his restaurant. Please note that never in this entire fucking series has Sonny ever had a problem with paying the rent. Emmett somehow knows who is leasing the place to Sonny. Okay. He goes out there and then, as Chris says, this man is my mentor. Please kick him out of his restaurant so I can take over. And do what, Emmett? This man is pimping Dominique. Once again in this episode, Dominique has a thriving home restaurant business that she is running perfectly by her fucking self. Emmett has come in and convinced. This man is the ultimate pimp I've seen in this show. He has come in and convinced her that she needs him to keep on doing what she is already doing by herself. In the end, when Zeke is talking to Emmett and Dominique, he's talking to Emmett. Like Emmett is the businessman. Like Emmett is the cook. Yeah. He is nothing. Like Dominique is this business. Dominique is the one he should be talking to. Dominique should keep Emmett out and keep all that money for herself. Fuck Emmett. Like, not only did he cheat, I gotta say it again. Fuck this character. Like, I cannot believe that they put, and then he's steadily fucking up his mama's life. Okay, so now
what the hell? Like, like.
So remember, Emmett and Tiffany fucked in Jada's house, but Jada can't even do that, and she's the one paying rent. Her house is fucked up on a regular basis that they don't even clean the house.
So trifling, yo. So freaking trifling. This is the thing that this episode, as much as I like the overall episode, as far as and there's a reason why I mean this episode wasn't, I wouldn't say it's my favorite episode, but I still loved it. It's because of Ronnie's redemption story, and with him and Kevin kind of making good as far as what happened at the very beginning of the first season. And even what was the other thing I was saying that was cool. Just the whole dynamic with Jake and Duda and them kind of knowing each other's place, and him kind of getting closure as far as what happened with his brother, and even in Keisha, obviously Keisha being okay. That was great, and then they fucking killed it with the Emmett storyline, man. Like, dude, like I knew the moment, the moment they did that recap and they showed that tarot card, I was like, God. They only do recaps of random moments when you know it's going to come full circle. I was like,
I have to say,
I knew it was coming. Like we were saying, like I knew it was coming, but I wanted to be wrong so bad. Remember I was saying that? We were saying it's like there's a small part of me.
What did I tell you?
No, I said that too. I didn't deny it. No matter of fact, I was with you. I said, yeah, he's gonna I think we all said it. The moment they introduced Lala, and Lala had that look and said, hey, let me see it or whatnot. But then with everything that Tiffany was doing throughout the thing, kind of like showing how much she cared for the community and stuff, like the small stuff, right? Like stuff that you didn't see in the previous episode. You just knew him as like, Emma's baby mom, right? And her actually using words like, yo, I fucking love you, Emmett, like stuff like that. I was thinking like, oh, maybe it will turn around perhaps, you know what I mean? Especially seeing how the previous episode, you didn't even see Lala. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe he won't do what we all suspect him to do, and he will actually be a good man to Lala. I mean, not Lala, shit, to Tiffany and shit, but like we were saying, that tarot card reading scared us. I just hate to see it actually, it being actualized. You know what I mean? That was, that pissed me off, bro. That just pissed me off because just the build up too. They made it seem like he was becoming his own man. You know what I mean? How you gonna do that just to be like, no, he's still a boy. He's still a boy. You know what I mean? Like his mentor, his own freaking mentor. Really, like you want to evict him? Like. I mean, like, we're already kind of pissed off at the fact that he didn't even ask Sonny in the first place to kind of get more hours, perhaps, and maybe, you know what I mean? So we were already pissed off about that. He fires you, rightfully so, fires you, and you turn around. The only guy that would hire you after you trying to make some, like, low-key money off of sneakers in the back of a freaking van, which almost got your ass, like, murked. You almost got killed off of that. And you're going to matter of fact, he gave him great advice too about women, about everything, about life. You're gonna turn around and then try to take his shot and be like, oh, but it's okay because we're gonna keep the name, huh? Keep Sonny. So people will ask like, what happened to Sonny? What are you gonna tell him? You know what I mean? Like, fuck this character. Like you said, just fuck him now, man. I'm done with him. No words, man. I'm done. I'm
All right.
I'm speaking.
All right. Yeah, man. I mean, Chris said it.
I'm glad we waited to the end to talk about this because oh my god.
What's up?
I'm glad
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. So again, I think knowing the obvious, I would say looking back on this season, the tarot card reading scene was unnecessary. It was way too unnecessary because there was no doubt in anybody's mind who watches this fucking show what Dominique saw in Emmett, what she first wanted to see when she met Emmett, that they were gonna end up fucking. Like, I mean, and just the fact that they had to have sex in some random restaurant because Emmett don't have a place to live. I'm just like, it's like just bad decisions. Just people just making bad decisions, you know. But I mean, Dominique is not staying on the show. She only has one more episode, if even that. She's in less than 5 episodes in this season. So
is she gonna be pregnant now?
No. So Tiffany will find out, and then something's gonna blow up, and then he's gonna be like, "You gotta go, you gotta get out of here." This business thing is not gonna work out because Dominique, Lala as an actor is not coming back. Dominique is not gonna be a recurring character in the show, so this is completely unnecessary. So I'm sure this long-term business deal is gonna fall apart very, very quickly in the next couple episodes. So it's not gonna be a long-term issue, but Tiffany will find out. Like somehow, she will find out.
Yeah. I mean, how many writers do they have for this show? No, because I feel like different writers are writing different stuff. Because the whole thing with Nina and Dre was awesome. The whole thing with Ronnie and Kevin was awesome. The thing with Emmett, who wrote that word? Who wrote? Was it Game of Thrones season 8? Like writers, like who did that? Who's responsible?
I don't, man. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. But I mean, at least he's sadly consistent. And I think that's as we talk about the inconsistencies in these characters from time to time.
That's one consistent thing about him.
Emmett is sadly consistent. And maybe that's a credit to the writers. Like no matter what, Emmett doesn't change. Like and you can't make him what he's not, which is a good person. But
like we even said, it was like, I mean, everything was. We all thought the last season. We even said this. The last season. When his mother kicked him out and he was forced to stay with his father, that when his father kept giving him all those advice, said, "Hey, don't be like me." We all thought like, that was the trigger. That was the trigger to stop just screwing around with these women because guess what? He did. He stopped. He stopped even messing around with Keisha. You know what I mean? He tried to make amends. He tried to be more present at the time in his other kid's life. And this season, like you said, it was like you say this every episode, but you're right. It's like 1 and 2 doesn't matter. Season 1 and 2, like fuck, that don't matter. That doesn't matter. Season 3 is his own thing, and it's just so sad, man. I freaking hate it.
Well, we gotta wrap it up. Anything else? You good?
I'm crying right now, man.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Well, as Chris gives this episode a tearful goodbye, we will say that's our review, guys. What do you think of it? Did we go too far? Did I go in too hard on Kevin? Did we go too far in on Emmett? Let us know in the comments. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Let us know how you think this season is going to end. What do you think of the characters? How these storylines are going to wrap up as they hopefully they get ready for a season 4. I'll still be here for a season 4. Just overall, it's still a good show. And we will see you again next Sunday for episode 8.
And always remember to consent, everybody.